We are now less than 75 days away from opening day in the Bronx versus the San Francisco Giants. So far this winter, the Yankees have re-signed Anthony Rizzo.
High fly ball.
They've brought back Tommy Kahnle. They re-signed Aaron Judge and named him captain. And they signed Carlos Rodon, the second ace of the staff. They've also lost Andrew Benintendi, Jamison Tyone, and a few other role players like Tim LaCastro and Marwin Gonzalez. Up in the front office, they've brought back Brian Cashman on a 4-year deal. They brought back pitching coach Matt Blake on a multi-year contract. And they added 2 former well-respected general managers to their team of executive minds, Brian Sabean and Omar Minaya. Thus far, though, they have not addressed the main issues that led to their embarrassing sweep at the hands of the Houston Astros. Their third baseman is still way over the hill. Their left fielder would rather be participating in long drive contests. And they still don't have enough contact or left-handed hitting ability. Something has got to improve, or this could be another frustrating season. In this live stream, my thoughts on the 2 ways in which this situation can play out, plus your thoughts on the offseason and the upcoming season. It all starts now. We got a live midwinter episode of NYY Recaps.
Welcome to Yankees Postgame.
Please like and subscribe.
Welcome back. Welcome back to my friends, my Yankees fan family, to a midwinter edition of NYY Recaps. Not a lot to recap this winter. The big news of the day, though, should come as no surprise. Frankie Montas going to be out for at least the first month of the season. Shocked Pikachu face. The Harrison Bader deal seems to be a promising trade, but the Montas deal, the Donaldson deal, Cashman had a tough year for trading. And frankly, Montas is starting to give me Sonny Gray and now Carl Pavano vibes. So we all know how we feel about Carl Pavano. All right, but tonight I want to focus on more big picture stuff. Despite the moves that the Yankees have made, frankly, they had to make those moves. Re-signing Judge, whether or not you like the contract, you're not really a contender if you don't re-sign Aaron Judge. Bringing back Anthony Rizzo, you had to do it. You got nobody else to play first base at that level. DJ being a question mark and all. And you needed the left-handed bat. So bringing back Rizzo, I think, is a good move. Adding Rodon, you can never have enough pitching. A second quality starting pitcher at the top of that rotation is huge. But let's be honest with each other. Let's just be completely honest and put it all on the table. This team still bears a striking resemblance to the team that got swept by the Astros. Now, the Astros, you can argue, maybe a little bit weaker because they don't have Justin Verlander, but the rest of the staff shut down the Yankees also. The fact that the Yankees are okay with their current roster construction kind of bothers me. The complete abundance of infielders and the lack of outfielders this far into the offseason is concerning. To cover second base, shortstop, and third base, we now have a plethora of options. You got Gleyber Torres. You got DJ LeMahieu, if he's healthy. You got Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Josh Donaldson, Oswald Peraza, Oswaldo Cabrera, who can also play the outfield, and you got top prospect Anthony Volpe, and not far behind, you got Trey Sweeney, who's done a really nice job and has a sweet swing. That's like 7 to 9 players really to cover 3 positions over the next, 5 to 7 years or whatever, which, however long you want to make this window of Judge's prime. That's too many for the infield. How nice would it be to just have a regular, shortstop, second baseman, third baseman, young, and tied to that position from the beginning instead of having 19 shortstops in the system. Cashman has admitted that he's received numerous calls about his infielders, but he hasn't pulled the trigger on any deals. The Mets and Red Sox both have gaping holes, but Yankees don't typically deal with those teams. They make some deals, but typically smaller type deals when one of them is out of it. There was the Joely Rodriguez deal with the Mets a couple years ago, which was interesting. In the outfield, we have Judge and right. He's not going anywhere. Ideally, I'd like him to trade off some time with Stanton because I think Stanton is better when he plays some defense, but I don't want him out patrolling the big left field at Yankee Stadium. I just don't. I don't think he's got the speed. He was in like the bottom 5% of the league in sprint speed. And he's going to get hurt. He's going to break down, and you need that bat in the lineup. So ideally, I want the combination of Judge and Stanton playing right field most of the season. Center field, I'm excited about a full year of Harrison Bader. I think the Yankees are better this season because of Harrison Bader being in center field. But left field, Aaron Hicks getting the nod displeases me. It displeases me. Now, I may be in the minority here, but I'm fine with the Yankees not trading for Brian Reynolds and having to unload the farm, especially since they're asking for 4 top prospects for this guy. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not, he's not going to win MVP probably, right? He's not that kind of player. And judging by how fast the Martian moved up the system last year by the brief stint from Spencer Jones, it might be that the Yankees are kind of keeping a spot warm in left field, with for one of their younger players. But you can't let Aaron Hicks start out there. I mean, the guy is just unwatchable. And you're starting to see the Yankees machine repeat. Aaron Hicks, Aaron Hicks, Aaron Hicks. First, it was Brian Cashman saying that Hicks is fully healed from his injury and ready to bounce back. And then it's the Yes Hot Stove show. And then it's Michael Kay on the radio. All trying to force feed us Aaron Hicks. Not here. Not here. Not on NYY Recaps. No chance. I do not want any part of Aaron Hicks next year. But it looks like that may be what we're getting. DJ LeMahieu would be a great fit for a utility man, but he doesn't play shortstop. Oswaldo Cabrera is a great fit for a utility man, and he can play shortstop as well as all the infield positions, and we saw him play 2 outfield positions. You got to make that decision. Who's your main utility guy? And what do you do with the other guy to get him regular at-bats? Is DJ your third baseman? Then what do you do with Josh Donaldson and his $25 million albatross contract? Donaldson's a good third baseman, but he's circling the drain offensively, and I don't expect him to suddenly get better in his late 30s. The steroid era is over. Having lived through my late 30s, I can tell you things only go in one direction physically. They're not getting better. As Arthur C. Clarke, this is one of my favorite quotes, said, 2 possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we're not, and they're both equally terrifying. So I think there's, a real alignment with that quote and how I feel about this Yankees season. 2 possibilities exist. Either the Yankees are working on something massive and complex to reorganize the structure of this roster, or they're not. And both are equally terrifying. A massive trade is terrifying because, we've seen with the Montas and the Donaldson deals, trades can be a complete bust. But doing nothing is also terrifying because this team cannot beat the Houston Astros as presently constructed. Pasha Noble saying, bat flipping singles. Yeah, we gotta lose the bat flipping on singles there. Sam G thinks Donaldson will be on the IL by June. Look, you're not wrong. As you get older, your body begins to break down. Even as a professional athlete, everybody's human, right? We're all made of the same stuff. And last year, I mean, I'm frankly surprised he made it through pretty much all the season. Fritz, the Gotham Yankee Walters, says 1,000 question marks after last season, and none really solved.
Absolutely. Hey.
Nelson Vega says Cabrera and Stanton, platoon left field. I could get behind that, but the problem is, as I said, Stanton is very slow. He's still got a really good arm, and he can still catch the ball. I mean, we saw him make a couple of nice plays in the playoffs against Houston, especially. But he really can't run anymore, and his body breaks down so often that I really, really am concerned about, putting him out in that big, gigantic left field at Yankee Stadium. But thank you for the comment. Let's see here. Hirsch says if Hicks is in left field, there better be a putter, a hole, and a sand wedge. Chris Crossed says Donaldson is the Roger Dorn of the Yankees. So Roger Dorn, in case you haven't seen it, was the third baseman in Major League. But the knock on Dorn was his defense. Donaldson can play defense. Dorn just, he could hit the ball. But, I remember there's this one scene where they were saying, oh, there's a ball in the hole. You couldn't get to it. And he says, what do you want me to do? Dive for it? Love it. Ben K says he's honestly not worried about the outfield until the trade deadline. I kind of think that's how Brian Cashman may feel, right? He might look at this division and say, look, the way it is presently constructed, we're probably going to win the division. We're going to be right up there with possibly the Blue Jays, who got better this winter. Yankees, kind of regressed after their hot start last year, and everybody's a bit older, so I don't expect a major improvement. But as it stands right now, this is probably a 93 to 97 win team minimum, right? They got really good pitching. The question is, are you going to get enough offense? Right now, I don't think you are. But, July rolls around. Maybe at that point you got somebody standing out in the minor leagues. Maybe Everson Pereira is a guy who could step up, right? Maybe the Martian really is this phenom. He was among the Yankees leaders in pretty much every category for the minor leagues. For weighted runs created plus, he was at 135, which was third in the entire minor league system for the Yankees, behind Andres Chaparro and Austin Wells. Shout out to Yankee Farm for posting those stats. One of my favorite Instagram pages. But I kind of agree with Ben that the Yankees are going to work on this at the trade deadline. Anthony Medina says Cabrera is better than Hicks, and that is the correct answer.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I liked what I saw from Cabrera, and I would feel comfortable putting him out there in left field to begin the season, right? As long as, you're really making an effort to get better at other places. And right now, third base is a spot where the Yankees really need to get better offensively. You got to get more offense out of the left side of the infield. You don't know what you're going to get out of shortstop offensively because you're going to be running a rookie out there, whether it's Peraza or whether it's Anthony Volpe. There's been a lot of talk about Anthony Volpe having a shot at the opening day shortstop position. I'll believe it when I see it. He did make it to AAA last season. He's got good bat-to-ball skills. He's a good defender, as you see the nice catch by Hicks in the upper right reel. Good command of the strike zone. He's got power. He's got power to all fields. He's been graded as having the highest IQ, baseball IQ in the minor leagues, which is something that you got to love. That's a big step up. Everything I've been told is that he hustles, he plays hard, and that he's really another Jeter type player. I saw a quote by Joez McFly who said that, he's talked to people who've played with Anthony Volpe, and they've all said the same thing. This guy is the prototypical Yankee, and I love hearing that. And I'm rooting for him. But the guy hasn't played at the major league level last year. And last year, for the first 2 months of the minor league season, he hit 202. So while he may be the future, I'm not counting on him to be an offensive force right out of the gate. Peraza, we at least saw a little bit at the end of the season. He hit the ball pretty well. He hit over 300, showcased a little bit of power. Definitely a good defender. I'm comfortable right now starting the season with Oswald Peraza at shortstop. But what if he pulls a hamstring? Or what if Volpe isn't ready and he pulls a hamstring? I don't want to see IKF out there, you know? And the rest of the offense just hasn't gotten better enough, right? I think it would have been a good move to sign somebody like Michael Brantley as a part-time platoon player for left field. I believe he went back to Houston. So, look, it's just the Yankees have not put themselves in a great position here. Sean Browning with a great question says, how do you feel about the robo-umps in AAA? Love it. Love it. So, you hear a lot of talk about the human element, right? And I love the human element. I don't want to lose the human element. That's my new song called Human Element. I really don't care about the human element at all. I want the calls to be right. And so much of the game is the battle between the pitcher and the hitter. I think you'll see averages and stuff go up if pitchers have to throw strikes, right? They can't exploit bad umpires. I'm tired of seeing games decided on terrible calls. I mean, how many times last year did we see the entire complexion of a game change because of some bad strikes, either for or against the Yankees? It works both ways, but it seemed to work more against the Yankees last year than for them. I don't have a ton of stats to back that up, but it's just my impression. But I like the idea of getting it right. I think wherever you can replace humans with technology that doesn't mess up, I think it's a good thing. I've been messing around with Chat GPT and all this. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you can do it and do it well, it'll probably speed up the game as well. Sam G says Peraza's going to rake. Let's hope so.
I wholeheartedly agree.
That is correct.
Let's see here. D-Rod says every good team has a liability somewhere. You're absolutely correct. The question is this team going to score enough runs? I believe they're going to have the pitching to win it all. I really do. You know, I'm amped about what Rodon is going to do in his first season as a Yankee. You know, the fact that Jonathan Loaisiga put it together at the end of the season. You got a healthy Clay Holmes this year. I think the bullpen's going to be really good. You know, we didn't add a new closer, but, you know, Clay Holmes, before he got hurt, was fantastic. Fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know, if he can bounce back. And then you got Mike King. He's going to miss the beginning of the season, but, you know, if you ease him back in, you know, that's like getting a mid-season weapon that's one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. Keep him healthy and refreshed going into the playoffs, and you'll be in good shape. Let's see. Nelson Vega says, still waiting on the big trade Hal Steinbrenner mentioned. So technically it wasn't Hal Steinbrenner that said it was a big trade. He did say, we're not done. And since then, they've added a couple of executives. Now, I like the idea of bringing in Sabian and Minaya because these are guys who know how to evaluate their systems. They know how to judge young players, and that's something that the Yankees need to do right now to decide, you know, whether they're going to go for it with a trade for somebody like a Reynolds or whether they're just going to hold off and see if they can advance, you know, the Joneses or the Dominguezes or the Pereiras, you know, or the Volpes at an aggressive rate. I just think that it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what happens, you know, with all these extra voices in the room. Lori C says our liability is hitting in October. 100% right. Hayden Byers says, I really want Reynolds, but what about Profar? Let's take a look at Jurickson Profar because I'm not really convinced that he's a huge upgrade. Let me just pull his numbers up. Jurickson Profar. Hang on just a second. My internet is being a little bit pretentious this evening. All right. Just realized I was muted. So we're taking a look at Jurickson Profar. 243 average last season, 15 home runs. He sprays the ball all over the place. He's got a little bit of power. Good eye. 85th percentile in walk percentage. He's got really poor defense. Just 9th percentile in outs above average. 37th percentile in jumps. I'm just not loving it. I'm not loving it. I don't know. I think we can do better than Jurickson Profar. Ben K says, I hate how much Sabian sounds like Saban. But you guys are taking a look now at the new layout for the podcast next year for the post games. I wanted to show this off. So we've got animated belts. So let's say that Cabrera wins the belt on opening day. We got animated belts there. It's just gonna be super fun. Also got, and I'll show this off again. We showed it off a couple weeks ago, but I've got a new Friday night show coming out with Pete Simonetti called NYY PD. I'm going to show you guys the intro, and also Frankie's going to be a part of this. And then I'll show you the layout for that as well. I can't wait to get started with some of this new stuff that we're doing next year. We're going to be doing a Friday night, kind of a late night show after the post game is over. Also got a cinematic show that I'm going to be doing on Mondays that I'm calling for now the Yankee Chronicles, which is going to be in the style of that Chasing History documentary that I created, which is just going to be like cinematic view it the week prior. With some content creators and behind-the-scenes stuff mixed in. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Let's go back to the main live screen here. Ben K says, has there been any word on Chappie where he might end up? Don't know, don't care about Chappie. Thanks for the question. Sean Browning says, Gleyber Torres trade inevitable. I wouldn't say anything's inevitable. I'd say there's probably interest out there. The fact that he didn't agree to the contract and is forcing arbitration, despite essentially a difference between the two sides of about $500,000, is concerning. But look, I like Gleyber. I think he's got potential to have a good bounce back year. He's one of those guys I think that will benefit from the shift a little bit, or a shift going away, I should say, because he hit a lot of balls up the middle that seem to get stabbed. He hits a lot of balls back through the box. Just his hitting style leads to a lot of hits right at the gut. So he's somebody that I think might benefit. The power was back this year. He had 24 home runs. I don't know if they're going to be 2019 levels again, juiced ball. But I think a second baseman that, if he hits 270 with 25 home runs and plays adequate defense at second base, that's pretty damn good, in my opinion. But we'll see. Got to keep waiting. Apparently there's something going on, something brewing, and we haven't seen what it is yet. Sam G says Gleyber MVP incoming. That would be nice. Aiden says, what about Alex Reyes, fireball reliever? Look, you can never have enough pitching. I'm not familiar with his stats last year. Let's take a look at Alex Reyes. So, hard-throwing relievers are not easy to come by. Well, I guess they are, but, ones that can throw strikes aren't easy to come by. I do know that he's got pretty good velocity, but his command is in the first percentile, so it's not good. His fastball velocity in the 91st percentile. Take a look at the
As you wish.
average exit velocity is above average. Hard hit percentage above average. Keeps the ball off the barrel. So he's got some good metrics, but I worry about the walk percentage there. He had, let's see how many walks did he have. Take a look at his standard stats. 52 walks. That was 2021. I guess he didn't even pitch in 2022, huh? Interesting. Was he injured? I don't know much about his injury history, but guys who can't throw strikes typically worry me a little bit. Andrew Chafin, definitely somebody that I like. He's a lefty, a power lefty. He's got a good cutter, good command. He's got the kind of attitude that you want for a relief pitcher. He'll have to shave and cut the hair a little bit, but he's somebody that I've definitely been interested in bringing on board. It's curious to me that he hasn't signed yet. Davey thinks that Texas is getting Reynolds. Yeah, I don't think that the Yankees are going to give up what it takes to get Reynolds. If Pittsburgh is asking for pitching, the Yankees just don't have the young pitchers in their system. They used them up to get Frankie Montas. So Sean Browning thinks Bader should hit leadoff, and I agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
The days of the speedy leadoff hitter that doesn't hit a whole lot are kind of over. You want somebody who gets on base, but you kind of want somebody who's got a little bit of pop too. And Bader definitely has some pop. He had, I believe, 5 home runs in the postseason, but he's also got speed. He's one of the fastest players in Major League Baseball. So I think it's going to be a good year for Bader. John says, how about Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins? They're not trading him. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. They've already said they're not going to deal him. So, unfortunately, that ain't happening. And Hirsch thinks that Reynolds may just stay put. I think he's probably going to end up going to the Rangers. I could also see somebody unexpected coming for him. Maybe, seems like the Cubs have been, active this year. Dodgers are always a sleeper. You never know. So, D-Rod says, how many players ask for a trade and then don't get traded? Believe it or not, it happens. It happens. All right, guys, I just wanted to check in on you. My wife and I are getting ready to watch The Fabelmans, which is the newest movie from Steven Spielberg, who's pretty much my favorite director. But it's been a slow winter, but I'm excited to bring all this new stuff to you this year. I'm really excited about the content that we're going to have. And I thank everybody who joined for this special midwinter live stream. And I will see ya when I see ya. Ball game.